What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of FNS Sports Media Podcast. This is episode 35, and we're continuing the trend that we did yesterday. We did the AL East projections. We were talking about what Pacoda projected and what we projected. Today, we're going to be doing the AL West, all those teams in there. It's going to be another good one. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, so the AL West has the Astros, the Rangers, the Mariners, Angels, and Athletics. So Pacoda, we talked about it yesterday, one of the best projection systems for MLB. They have the Astros in first place with 95 wins, the Rangers second place with 86 wins, the Mariners with 85 wins, the Angels with 75 wins, and the Athletics with 65 wins. I feel like Pacoda they did a good job. I don't agree with all of it, and I'll go into details a little bit later in the podcast episode. But I like how the Rangers, they had him second place, probably sneaking into a wild card spot, maybe making it a little bit further. The Astros, number one, kind of like the same as last year, kind of has the same trend over the past few years where it's Astros, Rangers, Mariners at the top, and then Angels, Athletics kind of towards the bottom. What do you think about Pacoda?
Yeah, I think having those top three teams right at the top, you've got it's going to be some combination of Astros, Mariners, Rangers, and then you'll have a clean break, and then down towards the bottom, Angels, and Athletics in some order. I think Pacoda is probably pretty close on this one.
Yeah. But last season, in the middle of the season, Angels were kind of in the mix there because the rest of the teams, they were kind of struggling, and then they picked up all those other guys, and then Ohtani gets injured, and then we don't need to go into details. They were kind of bad towards the end of the season. But yeah, as you said, there's a clean break. There's a big difference between Angels and the rest of the group, Angels and Athletics. They just, for the past season, they just haven't basically been the top. Now, let's do some notes, talk about some notes to consider when Pacoda is projecting this. Josh Hader signs with the Astros, so you got those really good relievers in the pen for the Astros. Brian Abreu, Brian Presley, and then Josh Hader. Really good 7, 8, 9, or however you want to change it. The Mariners, they traded for Jorge Polanco, second base. Colton Wong for them last year was just not it, but they needed second base. So Jorge Polanco can do what he did, a few years back. That could be the Mariners team could be even better than they were last year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for the Mariners is just making sure that they have enough depth and consistency to make it through the entire season. They had every time it seemed like they would get close last season, they would have a stretch where they fall off for a little bit, or they fell off towards the end of the season. I think they just need to make sure that they're a little bit more consistent compared to previous seasons.
Yeah. The Mariners, they also signed Mitch Garver, probably going to be mostly DH for most of the season because they have Cal Raleigh, and he hit pretty good amount of home runs for a catcher, one of the best pure power catchers. But Mitch Garver has shown last year, he showed that he can hit very good, and he can hit pretty well, even in the postseason. And so that could be an extra boost, even after trading for Jorge Polanco for the Mariners. The Rangers, they signed Tyler Mahle, but a note is he won't be healthy till the middle of the season. He was injured and didn't really play at all last season. But when Tyler Mahle is healthy, he is easily a number 2 or a number 3, and he can be very good.
Yeah, that'll be a big boost for the Rangers rotation when he's able to come back in the middle of the season. Kind of like almost like a trade deadline acquisition or whatever, without having to give anything up. So it'll be a good pickup for the Rangers to kind of give them a big boost in the middle of the year.
For the Angels, not much. Their moves probably didn't change the perspective of projections or Pacoda. The Angels, they signed Aaron Hicks. Angels, they signed Matt Moore, and then they signed Robert Stevenson. So they've got a pretty good back of the bullpen with Carlos Estevez. I don't know how to say it, but they got a pretty good 3. Not as good as the Astros 3, but it's a pretty solid 3.
Yeah. What? No major moves for the A's in the offseason? A's not looking to make a move to get up out of the cellar?
No,
Hmm.
nothing really big, nothing big enough to mention. A few minor league deals, but that was really it. So we're gonna go into maybe top 3, top 5 for Fangraphs projected stats for top for each 5 teams in the AL West. We're starting with the Astros. They have number 1, Yordan Alvarez, hitting 36 home runs and hitting 292, playing 100. Only playing 138 games too. That's what they have him projected for. So they have him projected to get injured a little bit, but 36 home runs and hitting 292, that's really good. Alex Bregman second, hitting 20 home runs, 262, right where Alex Bregman usually is. Number 3, Kyle Tucker, 27 home runs, hitting 270. That's the top 3 for the Astros. What do you think about this top 3?
I think the Astros' top 3 is just about as good as anybody else's top 3 when it comes to batting. I think Yordan Alvarez is a superstar. Alex Bregman is extremely solid, and I think Kyle Tucker doesn't get enough love for what he brings to the team. I think he's overshadowed a little bit by Yordan Alvarez, but I think Kyle Tucker is a phenomenal player. And we didn't even talk about Jose Altuve. And
No,
so,
he was ranked not even number 4. He was ranked number 5.
But I think that Jose Altuve is probably if you look position by position, Jose Altuve might be the best second baseman in all of baseball right now, also. And so, the Astros aren't going anywhere. The Astros are going to be exactly where people have been expecting them to be in terms of playoff positioning and in terms of leading the division. I think the Astros are the class of the AL West.
Yeah, definitely. For the number 2 team, the Rangers. Number 1 is Corey Seager. They have him only playing 124 games because, but he did have that surgery that he had to get, and he might not even play any spring training games and might not be healthy enough for even the opening day. So that could weaken his value a little bit. But they have him hitting 24 home runs, hitting 288, solid stats. Marcus Semien hitting 23 home runs, hitting 259, pretty good stats for Marcus Semien and Corey Seager right there. Number 3 kind of surprises me. Number 3, they have Wyatt Langford, playing 145 games, hitting 27 bombs, and hitting 265. Now remember, Wyatt Langford, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was drafted in the 2023 draft, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So they have him shooting up in the AA and lower leagues. Number 4, Evan Carter. He had showed really good plate discipline at the end of the season last year. You have him hitting 18 home runs and hitting 258. Pretty good stats for the Rangers. One of the definitely, if you look at the players and their projected stats, the Astros and the Rangers are actually pretty close comparing the two stats.
Yeah, I think the Rangers, obviously, World Series champions. You don't win a World Series by accident.
Yeah.
And so the Rangers are loaded. The Rangers have a really solid roster, good team chemistry, and everything else. I think the Astros have their hands full when it comes to trying to hold off the Rangers for the AL West.
Yeah. For the Fangraphs projects for the Mariners, Julio Rodriguez, number 1, no surprise there, hitting 33 bombs with a 277 average. Number 2, Cal Raleigh, we talked about him a little bit earlier, hitting 24 bombs, hitting 231, not exactly what you want to see. 231, not the best, but if he's hitting 24 home runs or more, that could be helpful in that lineup. Number 3, J.P. Crawford, hitting 11 bombs, hitting 252. Looking at the Mariners, I definitely favor the Astros and Rangers players projections better than the Mariners because really, past Julio, you don't have anyone that's like really good because number 2 is Cal Raleigh, and he's only hitting 224 bombs with 231 average. So not really what you're looking for. But hey, the Mariners, they almost pulled it off last season. So if with the new moves they've added, maybe they could be better. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the Mariners. I think the Mariners are a great team. I think they're an undervalued team, an underrated team. I think too many people are overlooking the Mariners. They're in a division there with the Astros and the Rangers. Yes, they're not as top heavy in terms of their lineup. there's just something about the way they play the game that makes me not want to overlook them as much.
Yeah, and something that we did not gonna mention, but their pitching staff is very good too. They have just Luis Castillo. His stuff is nasty, and everyone past him is just phenomenal. The Angels, number one, no surprise here, Mike Trout, only playing 85 games, so that's kind of concerning. But they have him hitting 19 home runs, hitting 251. Not what you've usually seen out of Mike Trout in the past seasons, but he's getting older, and so I can kind of see where Fangraphs is going. Number two, Logan O'Hoppe, hitting 22 bombs, hitting 256. Surprisingly, Logan O'Hoppe is projected to play better than Mike Trout, but you never know. You can't always trust projections. Number three is Zach Neto, only playing 94 games, only hitting 15 bombs, and only hitting 250. Because I was on the Zach Neto train last year because I liked the hype. He was young. He was playing pretty good. And then number four, Nolan Schanuel. After bringing them up really soon, they have him projected at 18 home runs, hitting 258. One of the best overall players, it looks like right here. And I was kind of surprised to see what Nolan Schanuel did last year. Really only being he just got drafted really. And then they brought him up really soon. But he was playing pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when your roster is made up the way the Angels roster is. There's not a lot of star power there. They had actually I'd take that back. There was star power. You had Ohtani and Trout. And then
who else was really else?
So two of the very best players on the planet on the same team, and then everybody else was just a whole bunch of scrubs. And so if you've got somebody who looks like maybe they can do it, why not give them the chance? So I can definitely see what the Angels were thinking. So we'll see. He showed out a little bit, but I think you can't expect him to fill Shohei Ohtani's shoes in the Angels lineup.
Okay, number one for the A's is Zach Gelof. They have him projected for 17 home runs and hitting 238. Honestly, pretty good for an A's hitter. And then Esteury Ruiz has him at 52 stolen bases. He stole a lot of bases last year too. But then again, you got to get on base to steal bases. So yeah.
I will say you can't forget about Shea Langeliers. I only say that because his last name is Langeliers, and it's kind of fun to say. But you got him at Fangraphs has him at hitting 20 home runs next season. Not a bad season for a guy whose last name is Langeliers. Just kind of rolls off your tongue. Langeliers.
Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna get to our projections after going over some of the other AI stuff, kind of projections. We're gonna go to our projections. For me, number one, I'm gonna go Rangers. I'm keeping the World Series champions in the AL East because I think all their power and all their stuff, when you combine it together, I think that they can do it again and win the World Series again. Maybe not win the World Series, but at least win their division.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think that the Rangers have not done enough to keep up with everybody else. I just think looking at the lineups and the rotations and everything else, I think the Astros are definitely the team to beat in the AL West. I just don't see the Rangers repeating what they did last year. Now, we're recording this on Tuesday, February 13th at 8:15 a.m. If something were to change, like the Rangers re-signing Jordan Montgomery or signing Blake Snell or making another move like that, okay, fine, we can revisit it. But the way that teams are built right now, as of this recording, I'm going to go with the Astros.
That's respectable. The Astros, Big Dog has been there basically since 2017. They've been one of the top teams in the AL West. For number two, I'm not going with the Astros. I'm going Mariners. I was kind of talking some smack about the Mariners players earlier, but when the Mariners team all combines it together, I think it's a really good team. I think there's a lot of energy on that team, and I think the pitching staff is just unbeatable. Maybe not unbeatable, but one of the best pitching staffs in for the AL West. So, All right, so my dad, Aaron, he had to go deal with some stuff, but I'm just gonna finish my projections. I had just said number 2 was the Mariners. For number 3, I'm gonna go finally pick the Astros. You can't put them anywhere past that because the last 2 are gonna be obviously the Angels and Athletics, but the Astros with their bullpen, with their pitching staff, that could get better. All season's not over, but if it gets better, I think that I could bump them up to number 2, but I think I picked my projections pretty good. Number 4, obviously Angels. Number 5, the Athletics, because the Athletics just have not been really good. They just have been tanking for the past few seasons because they want to move, but they might not even move at this point. It's a long story. Lots of things are happening for the A's, but my dad, I think he had Astros, Rangers, Mariners, Angels, Athletics, so I can see where he's going there. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell when any new so you know when any new episodes come out. And we'll see you guys later. Bye. Have a good day.